Hey guys, what is up? I hope everybody has been having a great day. I'm here today with my protege, Micah. He is going to be doing another long drive training series video with me. Check out the first one. It should be up actually as of this filming in like 5-10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. So go check out the part one of that. This is going to be a continuing series documenting Micah's journey to professional long drive. He is someone who I've seen for a while, and I know he can definitely do it. He's definitely got the speed, but more importantly, he's got the ball flighting mechanics, and I think he's got a good head on his shoulders that will allow him to do really well in the sport. If you guys want to see more videos like this, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and Mike's channel for more content like this in the future. So let's get into it today. You excited?
Dude, I am very excited. See, the cool thing is if you guys watch the video on my channel, we were kind of just getting some base numbers, and now today Kyle's going to be working a little more on some mechanics and just becoming more efficient with the swing that I have, and not changing too much, but just learning how to be more efficient and hit the ball more center of the club face, and I think that's going to lead to lasting success. Because like Kyle was talking about when we were walking down here, it was like, I don't want to just start off trying to swing as hard as I can. It's fundamentals is a huge part of it, so that's going to kind of be what we're focusing on today, and it's going to be good. We're just going to hit some bombs.
I hope this will be very educational and entertaining for you guys as well. I'll be doing my best to drop tips not just from Micah, but for you guys at home who are watching, because I know everybody wants to be able to hit the ball further. And so one of the things is we're going to be more focused on hitting it further versus being faster. Micah is he's very close to where he needs to be speed-wise to be competitive in long drive. So our focus is going to be getting as much out of that speed as we can before we start progressing in terms of raw club speed. I don't know if you guys can see this, but he is already at 123.6 miles an hour club speed, 183 miles an hour ball speed, hitting it close to 340. And this is a 42-inch driver. And that's one of the things we're going to be doing, is kind of getting him used to hitting more of a 45-inch driver, and then eventually we're going to work up to a 48-inch driver. So keep that in mind when you see these numbers. They will be mostly with my 45-inch play driver and not with a 48-inch long drive driver, which will definitely be creating more speed than a shorter club. All right, so one of the first things I want to get Micah comfortable with is a setup position to hit a certain shot. Now in long drive, especially when I need to hit a draw or a cut, it's really important to be able to work the ball both ways so that you can be viable in different wind conditions. And that's really the key to being really good at long drive, is being able to hit the ball really far in different conditions. So I want to set Micah up to hit a draw, but I also want him to be comfortable setting up to hit a fade. The idea behind this is we're not necessarily changing too many mechanical positions. What we're actually changing is his setup before he hits the ball. And he can make his same swing, and he's just encouraging a different shot shape based on his setup. That I found that is probably the best way to have predictable, reliable shot shapes, especially when you're under pressure. You don't want to be relying on mechanical positions. You want to be relying on a setup position, and then just be able to swing your swing and hit the shot that's going to create most distance. So we're going to be going with the draw first. I'm going to be setting up. This would be square right here, more or less. And so the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting up with a bit of a closed stance, and we're going to put the ball further back. What that is going to do, it's going to cause the club path to go more inside out, so it'll be a more positive club path, and the face will be turned over a little bit, which will cause a push draw, which would be great for this wind. Actually, this wind's coming off our shoulder from the right, so it'll be pushing the ball a little more. And then for a cut shot, it's going to be pretty much the opposite. We're going to set up open to the target, and we're going to put the ball further up in our stance. This is actually what I've been doing with my play driver. This is my go-to shot. I open up to my target, put the ball a bit forward. So I hit a pull cut, and it's a much more predictable shot shape for me. And so we're going to be doing both of those today, and we're going to be keeping an eye on the TrackMan numbers. We're going to be looking for positive club pass for the draws and negative club pass for the cuts. And we'll just see kind of how his swing is reacting to those setups, and we'll just kind of adjust from there.
Guys, I was just saying to Kyle that hitting a draw to me it feels foreign. So this is going to be really good. I mean, for me to be able to take this not only into long drive, but onto the course, because right now I only know how to work the ball one way with my driver.
All right, so we'll see how this goes for him. And obviously one of the big things we're going to be focusing on is the numbers the TrackMan's spitting out, but also how he's feeling over these shots. we want him to be comfortable with the swing path he's creating so that he can hit different types of shots for different types of conditions.
How far back should my ball?
You want to put this wherever you typically put it. I would throw it about a ball and a half further back. It's going to feel really weird.
Okay.
It's going to feel very unusual. And just kind of let the swing happen. So there you go. That's about, I'd say, right around a 4-yard draw there. And then you can see the club path is plus 9.1, so that's really inside, and that's good. We want to have exaggeration, and that's going to help him become more comfortable with hitting these kinds of shots. He's going to develop a feel for what he needs to, well, I guess he's going to be feeling what he needs to feel. So it looks like almost completely straight, slight fall to the left. There again, club path is plus 10, so let's see. It's perfect. And that's exactly what we want to be seeing there. We're aiming at that purple flag way out in the distance. Try to zoom in there. And the purpose of this is by putting the ball further back in our stance. We're going to be starting the ball to the right of the target line, and it should be falling left. And beautiful numbers here. You can see plus 4.9, that's exactly where we want the club path. That means he's going in and out. A negative 4.2 spin axis means it's falling a bit left. And you know, these are very efficient numbers. It's a great spin rate for his current speed.
That was really low on the face.
Look at that club speed right there. 127.1.
Are you serious?
Yeah, come here, check it out.
I feel like that was like.
Well, see what,
Yeah, the club speed is there, but I'm just not used to hitting a draw, so I'm hitting it low on the face.
Well, and this is very typical, and I call this it's kind of what I call newbie speed, and I don't mean that in a bad way. That's a great thing, because what he's finally doing, he's finally learning to utilize efficient speed. You know, Micah, and the reason I see a lot of potential in Micah is because he's got a lot of natural speed, but there's a lot more he can gain by learning techniques for speed. And this is a great example here. 127 miles an hour club speed, the 42-inch driver, and you know, that's because he's finally learning to come from the inside of the ball and release his hands. And that's what he said. He said he mishit it, but the fact of the matter is, it's just because he's not used to delivering that kind of speed at impact like that. But as he gets used to that, the hits are going to start getting more flush, and his speed numbers will continue to climb. All right, so we'll be hitting one more, working on the draw pattern with the 42-inch club, and then we're going to go to the fade pattern. And then after that, we will be growing up to my 45-inch driver. So that was pushed to the right there, but ball speed's pretty good, 182.7. So, and something to note there, the club speed dropped dramatically. That was a club speed of only 120.7 miles per hour. Now, the reason that dropped so much was because the toe was not rotating the way it needed to. That ball was straight right. And so what this will train him to do is to release his hands better. And that's why, as he said earlier, he's not used to hitting a draw, because he's not used to releasing his hands the way he needs to trap the ball and get maximum speed and maximum flight efficiency with a ball that falls right to left. So these are really good things to see. He's definitely off to a great start learning this new pattern. And, you know, obviously you guys don't want to sit through 500 reps of that, but that's the gist of what we're going to be working on, turning the ball right to left. And the reps that will be put in will be what will be causing him to get faster, get more efficient over time as the series progresses.
So basically, when you say my hands aren't releasing as they should, does that mean I'm just like holding on to it for just a little bit?
Exactly.
So my hands are like here versus releasing the club here?
Yeah, and here I'll show them what I'm talking about. So yeah, he pretty much nailed it, but essentially effortless speed comes from how well you're utilizing your wrists at impact. So guys that look like they swing really fast and the numbers come out lower than you might expect, their hands are probably very, very locked in and not really doing too much at impact. They're kind of maybe holding it off a little more. The fastest guys you're going to see, the guys that are able to hold their speed for a long period of time, are guys that are really good at releasing and snapping the wrist through impact. Because power comes from the ground, and as it comes through and coils through our swing, it gets multiplied through every body part that it travels through. And at impact, this last little motion here is the most critical part to getting speed, because it's that last little amplifier. And if you aren't very dialed in with that, if you aren't very good at utilizing that, it's going to cause your swing to look a lot faster than it really is. And what Mike has successfully done here is utilize that wrist snap on the ball before the last, and it shocked him how fast his club speed number was there. And it dropped 7 miles an hour the next shot because he didn't release those wrists. So that kind of goes to show you how critical a role releasing the wrists plays in the swing. And in fact, I can actually demonstrate myself here. So I'll kind of show you what I mean by that.
So look at those numbers, and then look what's about to happen when Kyle hits this ball while releasing the club in a proper way.
So if I was to close up like that and hold the wrists off, I'll show you kind of what it looks like. So it results in a push that slides out to the right.
So you were like holding it off there.
I was holding it off on purpose.
So he held it off on purpose, and it misses to the right because of a lack of release.
Club speed 128.9.
Right. But then, so 128.9 with holding it off, and now he's going to release the club.
And now I'll show you guys what happens when you release the hands the way that will be best for efficient speed. So I'm going to close my stance up again. Kind of make sure everything is square, close the square. And the only difference is, instead of doing this with my wrists, I'm going to do that and let them turn over.
Oh my goodness. So 202 ball speed. Yeah. And watch this. Hopefully the club speed registers. 136.
So
that's
pretty much right on par with what he saw. Now, those are both fairly similar effort swings. I'm sure if you guys would play back both of those and guess the difference in club speed, you definitely would have seen a 7 or 8 mile an hour difference. But that just goes to show, with the same power load, the same sequence, same day, same temperature, same everything, back to back, that little tiny little release of the wrist versus holding it off, it's a 7 mile an hour speed difference.
Right.
And it's a place that people don't look a lot because it's not a very big muscle and it happens very quickly. But that's one of the biggest things me and Mike are going to be working on, is getting him to use his wrists better, because there's at least 4 or 5 miles an hour he's leaving on the table with the wrists, and we'll be definitely looking to get those miles an hour over the next couple months. So, all right, so we've already got the draw swing kind of, we got the right pattern and the right template for that. So now Micah knows what to practice and what to look out for and where to put the ball. So now what we're going to do is the other shot. It's a cut shot, and quite simply, you reverse everything. So we're going to be open to the target, maybe not this far open, but a little bit open, probably about 20 yards open. And we're actually going to put the ball further up in my stance. And the reason this is such a critical setup piece is because a lot of people, their cut shot is slower than their draw shot, because to hit a cut, they hold their hands off. Mm-hmm. But see, that's actually not good for speed. You can hit a cut shot just as fast as a draw shot, but you have to be, it's a very specific way to do it. You have to have the ball forward in your stance so that the club is moving left. That's the first key. The second key is to have a slightly weaker grip than normal, so that when your hands do rotate, the face still isn't rotating as much, because if the face does over-rotate, you're going to hit a double cross. So the key, ball forward in the stance, so you're swinging left, weaker grip, so that when the hands rotate, the club still stays just a little bit open. And you're going to get very close to the same amount of speed, and that's really key to hitting a flat cut shot into the grid. And that's very critical when you have any kind of wind off the left, but especially a wind coming this way off the left, because then you can kind of ride that wind versus hitting a draw right into it.
Yeah. Guys, these are some things that, like, I mean, everything that Kyle, he's very smart, okay? So if you're back at home, take these things and apply them to your own game, because they can be very, very helpful. And then
so we're just gonna hit a couple with the 42-inch driver, make sure he's got the right setup, make sure the numbers look solid and they look good. Once we do that, we're gonna repeat this process with the 45-inch driver, and then we're gonna finish it off with a very brief speed push session. I do always wanna have a little bit of speed push in every session, but only after we've dialed in the mechanics and dialed in the pattern of the cut and the draw shot. And then we want him to have a correlation and understanding of how each shot should feel, so that he can start to replicate it in practice and eventually slowly get more efficient and more competent on hitting that shot on command. All right, so make sure the ball is, I would put the ball, so if you're gonna be, so with regards to stance, put the ball just a little bit more forward. There you go, perfect. Now that should be good right there. Make your grip is slightly weaker, and then make the same swing you were making. Literally the same swing you were making on the draw shot.
Still focus on that release?
Yes. Just do the exact same thing you were doing with the draw shot. And there you go. That's an absolutely perfect fade. And see, the key here, notice how his numbers are still very close to where his draw shot was. So the ball speed there is 179.6. The club speed will always be a little bit slower because TrackMan measures the average of the 3 points of the club, and because the club is rotating a little bit less, it will read slower, but the ball speed will still be pretty high. So that is 179.6, and look at the spin rate. That's a very good spin rate for that club speed, and you can see the club path is now negative, which means he's coming from the outside. That's perfect. 308 carry, and notice the numbers are still very good, and this is very great to see because I can already tell that he's going to be a two-way player, and that's really good because he can make final eights in all kinds of wind conditions once he gets really dialed in. And again, this is why I see a lot of potential in him, because he's a great golfer with a lot of speed. So he can learn to work the ball both ways, and that is a very critical skill in long drive and just hitting the ball further in general. It's another 2-yard fade. And again, same ball speed's right back there at 180. That's really good. 125.2 club speed. And you can see he's losing absolutely little to no speed by hitting a cut shot. And that is, most people will say that you lose speed, and that's just because they're holding their wrists off. If you do have yourself set up the right way with the right grip, their hands can still rotate just fine, and you'll still present the right impact conditions to hit a baby cut. And I'm pretty impressed. He's already doing exactly what he needs to be doing after 2 shots, so he's obviously gifted.
So here, that's crazy to hear, because it seems like everything that I've always heard about a cut versus draw is people think a cuts go shorter.
They don't.
Which, if you hit it right, like Kyle's saying, you're not losing anything with the cut, really.
There you go. That is perfect.
Gosh, that was hit good.
Once again, ball speed is right where you'd expect it to be, 182. And didn't get the club speed there, but look at that carry. 318 carry, 345.9 total, 2200 spin. That's absolutely perfect.
I will say that even from my last session to now, just changing up a few things in my setup, I'm faster with this club than I was last time, which is awesome.
Well, and the key here is I'm not asking him to change his swing. I like Micah's swing. I think he's got a very good swing. What we're doing is we're changing the setup so that the same swing produces different results. And it's much easier to control your setup when you're not moving before you've made the swing than it is to control a little swing change and technique change at the top of your swing when you're swinging 150 miles an hour. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here, is we're trying to make the easiest changes possible. All right, so we'll get one more here with this 42-inch driver, and then we're going to move up to my play driver, and we will see the speed numbers jump up a bit. And again, didn't quite cut, but again, it's still a very straight shot. And numbers there, solid. And it's now time to get on to the 45-inch driver. And there it is. It's a tight draw. And 187.8 ball speed on that. That's a really great start. 124 club. And you can notice there how efficient that strike was, and this is another huge thing that Micah has going for him. He strikes the ball very squarely, and that's going to allow us to not have to get up to the upper 140s to be one of the top guys. He can probably be between about 143 and 145 and be a top guy, and you know, that smash factor being that high is going to be very critical to his success in this sport. There it is.
That's probably going to be pretty good.
Look at that. 188.0, and we're not even pushing speed right here. That's the thing I want to stress to you guys. We're not pushing speed right now. We're just working on mechanics. These numbers will go up once we start to push speed here in a little bit. Additionally, look at the club path, +5. So you can just see he's making the same swing effectively, just changing a few things at his address position, and that kind of just goes to show you how much you can change the condition of impact just by changing your setup. There you go. So now you can see up there at 189, and you could really tell he was coming through the ball better on that one. So that's a really, really good swing there. And yeah, 320 carry, 2100 spin, 350 total. So he's already going 350 with my play driver, and you know, there's no question in my mind we can get at least another 25, 30 yards out of him over the next couple months as we train. That's really good. Right back to 187. So yeah, he's already looking pretty good with the draw. So now let's set up with the cut shot. See if you can properly set up with the cut shot. There you go. Make sure that's lined up. And what do we talk about with the ball position?
Yeah, forward.
More forward. And the grip?
Weaker.
There you go. Make the same swing. And there's the fade. You can see 185.9, pretty much right where he was at with the draw. And this will be falling left to right. You see the club path change, and that's literally the same distance. So there's your spin axis at +9, that means it was falling left to right. If you guys remember the earlier shots, they were negative spin axis, which means they're falling right to left, but there you go. That is literally the same distance. The last two shots were completely different shot shapes, completely different launch conditions in terms of the impact point, and same speed, same distance. Fades and draws can both go very far. Another 2-yard fade. It's another great ball flight there, 187.4. And there you go, the spin axis +3.8. And so he is maintaining every bit of speed he had with the draw with this fade, just by because he's not changing his swing, he's not changing the rate of release on his wrists, he's just changing his setup position. And when you have all your changes set up with just your setup position, but you have the same swing, it allows for a lot more repeatability and a lot more fluidity between types of shots. And we'll hit one more with this, and then we're gonna start a really fun session of speed pushing and see where he can get his numbers to. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that, guys. 189.9. That is his fastest yet, and it came with a fade swing. 126.6. So
that feels awesome. To be able to like I was saying earlier, hitting a draw is foreign to me, but now, like, even just today, I feel like it's been so productive so far, because to see the numbers are the same going both ways, and hitting the 2 shots with a driver just feels good. Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, and what he's learning to do right now is kind of know the language of a fade and a draw, very simply taught. There's a lot of ways of teaching fades and draws and a lot of ways that work, but I've always preferred just setting up for a fade or draw with the setup and not with any swing changes, because that makes it so much easier to have a repeatable swing with as much minimal effort as possible. And so now we're going to be going into the final phase of our training session today, which is going to be the speed pushing phase. We're going to be trying to get to 196, 197. That's probably the goal speed here. I'm not super concerned if he hits that speed or not. It's fine with me one way or the other, because the main purpose of this session was just to kind of get those patterns grooved so that he knows how to improve them going forward. But now it is always important to continue to build that engine, because he does need to gain speed. He is not quite fast enough right now to be able to make checks. He's very close. He's very close. We need him to get about 5 or 6 miles an hour faster. So speed gains are very important, and just as important as optimizing ball flight and optimizing launch conditions. So we're going to begin our speed pushing session right now. And something that is pretty typical, especially as he starts improving his numbers, is that the ball speed might not be crazy high from time to time. And that's because as he goes faster, he's going to start having trouble connecting in the center of the face. But that's very critical, because we want his body to get used to swinging faster, and that eventually he will learn to square it up more and more. There we go. That's the fast one so far, 192.9, 129 club speed. So as I said, my goal club speed for him today is 131, 132, with a ball speed of about 196 to 197. I'm very confident we're going to get there, and yeah, he's just got to keep pushing. Here we go. 192.9. Again, I don't know if you can see the numbers, but 193.1 actually, sorry. So he's definitely getting some good speed. Look at that one, 194.0.
That one felt good.
194.2 rather, 129.4 miles an hour club speed. So we're already getting pretty close to our goal speeds here. And that's something I want to say. I always, when I do a long drive session, when I'm trying to push speed, I always have a goal number in my mind that I feel like is a little bit of a stretch. I think Micah maxed out at about 130 club speed, 129 at our last session, and 195 ball speed. So we're already right there at the ball speed. So this is kind of the point where we've hit our previous numbers, and this is where you get faster. This is the period where you stretch and you get just a little bit quicker, and this is how you gain speed. Just doing this a little bit every day. And something else I want to say, notice how much faster he's going, and that's a very important key. When we were doing our optimization training earlier, we were being very slow and deliberate. But when you're pushing speed, you want to swing faster, you want to move at a faster pace. You're basically trying to get everything in your body going faster, your heart rate, your blood pumping, all those things, because that's what's going to allow your muscles to reach pretty much their maximum potential. And that's kind of what we're doing. We're trying to overload the skeletal system so that the next time we do it, we're faster. So yeah, this is a really good sign, because our last session, I think our sticking point was about 192 miles per hour ball speed and about 129 club speed, maybe about 129 and a half. That was kind of our sticking point. And we're already over that ball speed sticking point of 192. We're at about 194 right now, 194 and a half, as well as the club speed. So that's a very good sign. Because our sticking point right now is a little bit higher, it probably means that we can reach back and get a little bit more than we got the last session, which is great, and quite frankly unexpected. So if we get to 196, that would be an official gain in speed for Micah. So one of the things you guys are noticing is Mike is starting to experience some fatigue. And this is again why it's so important to push speed, because I find that people that are just beginning to learn how to push speed and gain speed, they go through a period where they get fatigued very fast, and it makes it hard to push speed. It's really hard, I think, to build it until you can get to like 75, 100, 200 balls of just going hard at it, to build up those muscles and to build up that endurance. And he's doing pretty well, but he is fading a little bit. However, I have found that sometimes we have a period where we're kind of fading a little bit and we are able to kind of rest, and then we kind of bounce back up and actually get our top speed. And that's actually what happened at our first training session. I found it happens to me a lot too. So we'll see if he can climb back up and get into the mid 190s. But if not, I'm really excited to see how well he's been flighting the ball, and the speed will definitely be there in the next couple months. So what are you feeling right now?
I'm definitely feeling like I'm kind of running low on my fuel here.
What I'm very impressed about with Micah though is, even though he's starting to fatigue a bit, he's still hitting the ball very straight. That's a very good sign, because that tells me that his default swing is very solid, because when we're fatigued, we kind of revert to more of the repeatable pattern of our swing. And he's got a very solid repeating pattern, so that's going to help him out a lot. And I really want to drive this home as well to people that are pursuing speed. It's not like a linear progression. It's one of those things I found, it kind of goes like this. It's kind of one of those things where you might not have gains for a while, and then all of a sudden, one of the sessions you just jump and you're able to kind of hold that speed. So if you're going through sessions like these where you're not seeing those speed jumps, that's good. That's a good sign, because that means your body's going through the process it needs to go through to retrain its neural system to fire that pattern quicker. And that's what Mike is going through right now. And you can see it's a bit of frustration. He's getting a little winded, but these are the building blocks needed to achieve extreme speeds. We've all went through it. I went through it for over a year and a half. If you tried this, you're going to go through it. My biggest advice is stick with it. You're going to want to quit. But if you continue to be consistent, continue to show up, and you continue to work on and improve your speeds by pushing, you will eventually achieve higher speeds. You can actually see he's starting to pick back up again. We got 191.9, 128.8. In fact, that 128.8 is very close to the fastest he's had all day. So we're gonna see a couple more from him, see if he can bust out 1 or 2 more miles an hour and really push. Probably gonna hit about maybe 5 or 6 more. Because I've seen plenty from him today. He's really done a good job of demonstrating his understanding of how to move the ball left to right and right to left. And that's really going to serve him well in the future as we continue to build his swing and his speed so that it is going to be competitive and successful in the sport of long drive. But look at that. So this is a great example of what I'm saying here. The speed on that was very average, but look at that, went 353. So he's really learning how to maximize his numbers right now. And, you know, once we gain this speed, it's going to be very, very good. And there you go, 192.5. That was a really square hit. 128.8. So he's basically gotten exactly where he was last session. He might have gotten a 1/10 or a few tenths of a mile an hour faster if we were to split hairs. But this has been a very successful session. We'll see him hit 2 more drives, and I'll give him a little challenge. If he can get to 130 on any of these next 2 drives, I'll buy him dinner.
What'd you say?
You can get to 130 on any. You have 2 more drives. You can get to 130 on either of them. I'll buy you dinner.
Oh my gosh! All right.
Because I know he's definitely working up an appetite. So, I want to put a little pressure on him. I want him to have an incentive. This is also a great way to help you get to bigger speeds if you have an incentive to get to those numbers. Let's see. 129.1.
No way.
So there you go. I just want to say this right now. That is the fastest speed he's had all day if I'm correct in my memory. And that was, I believe, in no small part because I challenged him and gave him an emotional reason to dig deeper and push that speed. So he's got 1 more shot here, 1 more ball to get to 130. This is the ball we're going to finish it off on. And I want him to feel this pressure. I want him to have something on the line. This is a great way to train yourself to especially hit drives under pressure, especially when you're in final eights competing against the best guys in the world and you need to hit a good shot. So putting a little pressure on you, Micah. Let's see if you can respond. 1 ball to swing 130. $195.1.
Don't tell me the last one I did it. Please tell me it's gonna read it, cause 3.4, baby, I did it. 195. That is. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that on the last shot.
363.4, 130.4 club, and that is literally the last ball. I mean, we have no tees left. That is it. We are done. But I really hope you guys see how important it is to have your emotions engaged and to have that pressure on. And the reason I only gave him 2 balls, and the reason I was more prepared to buy him dinner, I knew he would probably get there. The first ball you already saw an instant jump, and then the second ball 130, and it was as fast as by a mile, and that is the fastest he's had, I believe, in all of our sessions so far. And so this is a very important thing. Having these incentives, getting emotionally invested, is very critical to gaining that speed and getting that edge, and that's what we got today. We got a little bit more of an edge. We got his ball flight more dialed. Knows exactly what he needs to do to continue working and developing his shots, and he got a little faster. So, I mean, I know he's pretty excited about having dinner tonight now, and these are little things I like to do. I want to challenge him. I want him to grow. I want him to feel that pressure and to respond, and he hit a great shot. So, so how you feeling about that one?
Dude, I can't believe I did that on the last ball. I mean, all day I felt like I was like really kind of lagging behind, a little bit slower than normal, and maybe I was on a few swings, but dude, the last 4 balls I really connected with well, and I was hitting them, so from the last session, with some of the ones I was hitting this good, the spin axis was way higher, and I wasn't connecting well, but almost 365 with 195 ball speed and 130 club head speed. That feels good.
Yeah, and something to keep in mind, these are range balls, and it's not the warmest day, honestly. So these are going to be numbers that will be much higher with the plate of a long drive club and with long drive balls. 130 is very fast with these conditions we have right here. He's not that far off of long drive speed with a long drive club and long drive balls at his disposal. So that's going to wrap it up for this training session. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. Please stay tuned for future training sessions. We will be going bi-weekly on our alternating between sessions on our channels. Smash the like button if you guys want to see more. Check out him. He is going to be one of the faces of the long drive, I am sure. So
good session today.
Absolutely. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.